Hola y bienvenidos a la Daily Hustle. Soy Enrique Barnes y presidente de esa mejor cerveza. No abate por No Filter Network. Miguelito San Dieguito, not with us today. Will the Thrill Clark, not with us today. But as you guys know, we come on here each and every single morning. We properly salute our boys and each and every one of you. Yes, 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 yes. Woo! A very pleasant good morning to you on the, let's see here, 26th day of December 2024. Joe, good morning to you, firing in the chat from Arizona. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, if you want to join us live, we usually will film this. I don't know, mainly the 9 o'clock hour, to be more specific, or at least more truthful. Usually between 8 a.m. and noon, Monday through Friday. I'm going to try to get in a regular routine as we get into 2025 and come on at the exact same time. But as you guys know, life can be chaotic. So not only do we go ahead and produce this here at No Filter Network, that's nofilter.net. It's live, it's interactive. Join Will Clark and I every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, as we do the exact same thing for our Deuces Wild. But anyhow, this is a really cool time of year. All right, we had Christmas yesterday. Merry Christmas to everybody. And you kind of got this week before the New Year's where we get to take a little bit of a deep breath, step back, and I think reflect upon the year that was, and then also look forward to the upcoming year. And, like anybody, there are certainly things that I will look at, and I don't necessarily want to call them New Year's resolutions. If you've been a longtime follower of the Daily Hustle, I'm not a huge resolutions guy. I think it's like 90% of those go to shit by January 21st. You guys know that, right? So when you make a New Year's resolution and then they followed, I don't know, let's just say it was 100 people that made New Year's resolutions that were supposed to last a significant amount of time, at least through the year in 2025. And by January 21st, all of them were fucking done. Just about all of them, or at least 90% of them. So you got to be careful with that. Small changes seem to be the most efficient and effective way to go. So, on that note, let's get to a celebration of life of somebody that was instrumental in my career, in my life, somebody I had the honor and privilege to be around, and more than anything, just really grateful for that. We talked about Rickey Henderson a little bit last week, and this morning I wanted to pay homage to him through a daily hustle and just try to share with you guys a little bit of the experience that I got to have with him, and then also the impact I think that he not only had on me, but the baseball world and, really just the entire sporting world in general. Before we get to that in the email, let's not forget our title sponsor, Bet Online, the number one online gambling destination for all the latest news, scores, odds, predictions, everything you want, everything you need. Go to Bet Online. Type in the promo code BLEAV, capital BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. Bet Online. The game starts here. And then also, haven't brought this up for a while. It just seems like an apropos time to take one. Try Verge. Go to our guy Jory at tryverge.com. I think there's a promo code in there. I don't know if it's LTP10 or something like that. But reach out to Jory. These things are fantastic. It's a little bit of a mix of honey, lemon, ginger, cannabis. The right amount, of course. It's not like you're going to feel like you're getting high here. Pound one of these to go ahead and start your day. And then lastly, certainly not least, if you have not picked up your copy of Let Them Play, a parenting and coaching guide to youth sports, go to ericburns.com right now and get that. And while you're there, you can pick up a Daily Hustle 222 on Filter Life guidance from a human crash system. Maybe even an effort list, which is also there. And of course, the foot reflexology board and the flippy. Okay, here we go. This morning's email titled Gone but Not Forgotten. Daily Hustle quote of the day. If my uniform doesn't get dirty, I haven't done anything in a baseball game. Ricky. Daily Hustle translation. Whether in a literal or metaphorical sense, or if we are talking about baseball or any other sport or job, us members of the Go Hard community should certainly be able to relate to Rickey Henderson's dirty uniform sentiments. There truly is nothing more rewarding than the physical proof of our efforts smothered and covered across our chest. Nobody has ever done Rickey like Rickey. As great as his stats were, many will argue his persona off the field was even better. Rickey notoriously talked in the third person, and many of the stories have definitely crossed the blurred line between fact and fiction, prompting Rickey to once say, I'm the modern day Yogi Berra, only faster. Regardless of the infamous tales, including the framed $1 million check he never cashed because he decided to hang it on the wall, Rickey was a baseball savant, a true genius in the batter's box and on the base pass, and he undoubtedly had all the numbers to prove it. Personally, I grew up in the Bay mimicking his head first slides, and you bet your ass I got my hands on a pair of those sick neon green Mizuno batting gloves. Those were the best. Still my favorite gloves to this day. Rickey was swag before swag and drippy well before drip was even a term. The best part, though, was Rick's drip almost always included a dirty ass uni dripping with mud and an overloaded box score beside his name when the game was over. A few years back, I ran into Rickey in spring training, and although I had met him before and even worked with him on base running when I played for the A's, it had been a few years, so I reintroduced myself. Rickey, what up, dude? Eric Burns. Burnsy, come on, man. You don't ever insult Rickey like that again. Speed always recognizes speed. Rickey, as a lifelong baseball fan and MLB brethren, and major proponent of individuality, I will forever be grateful for the inspiration, mentorship, and countless laughs. Bottom line for all of us hustlers, let's just make sure we keep running like Rick and get that uni dirty every fucking chance we get. EB. So, yeah, there it was. It was fun. I wrote a little bit of a longer one, and I tightened it up for the IG post and also even in the email. It's just a fascinating character. I mean, this is a guy that was born in Chicago, and he was actually named after the singer, Rickey Nelson, I believe. And he was born in the back of a Cadillac. And so there was another famous quote, maybe his most famous of all time, is that it was Rickey saying Rickey came out the womb going fast. And that was in reference to him being born in the back of the Cadillac. He ended up in Oakland, for which I believe it was his mother remarried. And then that's where the Rickey Henderson came into it, grew up a lot of the time with his grandmother, a 3-sport star at Oakland Tech, just ridiculously fast. All-American running back, had scholarship offers. I think it was like 12 different schools, I know, including USC. Ended up being the 4th-round pick of the A's. It wasn't like he was a first-round pick, but 4th-round pick. And I guess it was his grandmother didn't want him to go play football. And so that was the reason for him signing. You go back and you look at some of the numbers of Rickey through the minor leagues. He just fucking killed it start to finish. Got up to the big leagues in 1979. And then I think it was by 1980, he was off to the races and setting historical marks for stolen bases. So look, to have that opportunity in spring training, and it wasn't like he was there all spring. He would come in for a couple days. But to go around the base pass with Rickey, it was really fascinating. Now, when he taught us, say, certain intricacies on the leads and the jumps and everything else, I do think that it was a little more difficult, say, even for me as someone who could really run, to adopt his style because he was so gifted that, and I talked about this a little bit last week on the Daily Hustle when I talked about Ricky, but when he would go, he would turn completely like this and then go because he was so explosive. Where I was just trying to get to my top stride as quickly as possible. So I would take my left foot completely, bring it across on my first jump, and then the same sort of thing at second. This dude was stealing third, which is really hard to do from a flat standstill point in here and just whew, same sort of thing. What he did really well was get the read off the pitcher. And he had talked to Harold Reynolds at MLB Network about watching the back elbow of the pitcher. And then as soon as he see it come this way, he knew that they could come back to second base. Or if he saw it just come up, he felt like they would be going home. And that was what allowed him to steal third. Where for me, I would have to get that momentum, just kind of lull everybody to sleep here, and I'd always have my momentum going towards third, and then boom, I was gone. But it was fun having those conversations with him because I asked him, I'm like, and I certainly wasn't stealing the number of bases he was, obviously. And so I tried his technique, especially at first because I kind of decided basically that it was a combination of the two. It wasn't here, go. It was here with this coming all the way up. So just like, as I'm rehashing this, talking to, the Daily Hustlers here, how fucking cool, man. Right? I mean, what a great opportunity. And as someone who grew up an A's fan, a Giants fan, both, I was more of a Giants fan because I got to go to more of the games. But dude, Rickey Henderson and Will Clark, Joe Montana, like those were it, right? And just a heartbreaking loss. It's tough, and I think probably because we just saw him throw out that last pitch in the Oakland Coliseum, and once again, a tough time for A's fans. You have your team leave, and then your most popular player pass away. I've been reading a little bit. I saw an article. I don't know exactly where it was, but they were talking about basically there's no place sort of for people to like lay flowers and mourn Ricky. And that was interesting. And I mean, I guess the place to do it would have been the Oakland Coliseum, but here's this fan base that had his heart ripped out, grown men crying at the end of this past season, and then to top that off with Ricky passing away, I just think it's a really difficult time. That all said, I also believe that, look, let's take the inspiration that was left by Rickey Henderson, the legacy, and the same is true with the A's and what that meant to the city of Oakland. And we're all going to go through this grieving period. And then I think it's just time to move on and figure out how we continue to celebrate the franchise that, was the Oakland A's and the icon that was Rickey Henderson. So on that note, here we go. This just came out in the Sacramento Bee today. It says, get ready, Sacramento A's fans. Your MLB team is coming to town in 2025. Here's the latest guide. All right. It says changes here coming to the roster. The A's surprised the baseball world in December by making their largest free agent investment in club history in right-hander starting pitcher Luis Severino. That's kind of fucking sad. It really is. Just the fact that the A's highest paid contract ever in the history of the franchise is Luis Severino. It was somewhat of a throwaway by the Yankees. Now, he was a good pitcher, and he got hurt, and then he had a resurgent year with the Mets. He had a good season. But here he is. A team gave Severino a 3-year, $67 million contract. That's $1 million more than Gold Glove third baseman Eric Chavez received from the team. Ready for this? In 2004, fans in Oakland were eager to relay their displeasure with the timing of the splurge ahead of the move to West Sacramento, while the team regularly had one of the lowest payrolls in baseball during his final days in Oakland. Adding a pitcher with an all-star upside like Severino could be important for a team that played 500 ball over the final 64 games of last season. The A's have finished above 500, have not finished above 500 since the pandemic shortened 2020 campaign. The A's are fucking good. They're good. They're not great. They're good. Brent Rooker is a fucking stud. So they have some pieces that certainly will make them competitive. Mark Kotze's done a fantastic job with this group as well. So anyhow, the next thing here, it says, what's new at Sutter Health Park? This is West Sacramento. This is where I played with the Rivercats. It says changes have been underway at the Rivercats home since their season ended in September. The most notable developments include building a new 2-story clubhouse beyond the left field wall that will house the A's, upgrading the visiting clubhouse, weight rooms, batting cages, dugouts, and bullpens. Exactly what's being done will be revealed closer to the start of the season when the A's host the Chicago Cubs in their home opener in March. Okay, if you take a look at it, number one, they're putting in AstroTurf. Now, the reason being is that the players' union has some sort of rule in place. If there's X amount of games or two teams are going to share a facility, then you can't have this grass all beat up, right? So they are going to put in the turf there. The clubhouse, and I know it's a big league rule, was supposed to be attached to the dugout. Now, that's not the case in Sacramento, and it's not going to be. So they're going to have to walk out from left field or center field onto the field. I think that's cool. I actually don't mind that at all. I don't think the dugout should be a place where players can go hide and dip out. I think just in general, it's good for the game of baseball to have more access to the players. So I think that is fantastic. It says what remains unclear is what happens should the A's shock baseball and make the playoffs. Season ticket holders have been told playoff games are not guaranteed to take place at Sutter Health Park because it lacks the necessary amenities, such as press seating, news conference space, and parking for TV trucks. For what MLB calls jewel events, there's no word on what alternative sites could be used for the postseason should the A's qualify. Wow, that'd be fucked up. Huh. Where would they go if they made the playoffs and MLB does not deem Sutter Health Park sufficient? I think there's really only one place. San Francisco. Oracle. So check this out if you're a Giants fan. There's a chance that you don't make the playoffs. Well, I mean, obviously, you got the fucking Dodgers and the Padres and the Diamondbacks in that division to contend with. But you never know. The A's could sneak into the playoffs, especially in that weak-ass American League West. The Astros are going to be worse than they were. The Rangers were meh after winning the World Series a year ago. This is real. The Angels have always been the Angels. So I do think it is a possibility the A's could make the playoffs. Now, if that happens, there's a good chance they will be playing playoff games at fucking Oracle Park. That would be fantastic. I said a long time ago, I think they should share a stadium. Why not? It's such a beautiful park. It should be used on a nightly basis. You would fill the fucking thing up. Oakland could have remained Oakland. They really could have. You could have kept the name if you wanted to, or you changed it. I don't know. San Francisco Giants, San Francisco A's. It's just more realistic, much better venue, and you know there's enough A's fans in the Bay Area. I don't think this is a situation where, especially now, And we've seen it with the Raiders. They have a huge fan base. They really do. Now, when the A's do go to Las Vegas, they're going to get inundated with visiting teams, fans. That's the case everywhere. It's the case in LA. I mean, I was at that Buffalo Bills game in LA, and it seemed like 70, 80% Bills fans. So that said, yeah, that could be fun to watch if that does happen. And there's really nowhere else. You're not going to take them out of the Bay Area. You're not going to do that. And you can't play whoever they're playing. You can't play these playoff games exclusively at their park for home field advantage. That just won't work. Okay. Yeah, it says here, that's it. The most logical turnkey option would be Oracle Park in San Francisco. While the team's old home, the Oakland Coliseum, will be the home venue of the Oakland Roots soccer team, meaning it won't likely have a baseball diamond. The uncertainty surrounding the postseason hasn't done much to quell interest in tickets. Premium tickets near home plate and the dugouts, which include access to club areas, sold out quickly. The team's expecting to sell out its standard season tickets that will be available until January 9th. Premium tickets were believed to run from $15,000 to $20,000 per seat per person and include parking, food, and beverage. Standard tickets range from $39 to $170 per seat, according to the team's website. I'm all in. I tried to get season tickets. Deetra, what the fuck? I reached out to Deetra. She works for the A's. That's been there a long time. I told her I want to buy them. Now, maybe I got to rethink that. I guess I could have tried to resell them. Those are expensive seats. And I typically like to get 4, not 2. I mean, that's what, $80,000 for the season. Wow, okay. Well, the way I'm looking at it, I'll pick my games that I want to go to, and then I'll splurge in that moment. But I think it's going to be really cool. Not only get to watch the A's, but as John Fisher said, hey, you get to come here in this intimate ballpark and watch Aaron Judge. He didn't mention Brett Brooker. No, maybe he did. But then he brought up Aaron Judge right after. All right, the controversies. Multiple stalled stadium proposals, broken down relationship with the Oakland officials, trading away far more stars than they brought in, raising season ticket prices, a decision to leave a top 10 media market in the Bay Area for number 40 in Las Vegas by way of number 20 in Sacramento, Stockton, and Modesto. How about Sacramento, Stockton, and Modesto at number 20? I mean, you're ahead of Las Vegas. I still think they should stay in Sac. Have Sac build them a stadium. Do like a partially indoor-outdoor thing. That'd be fucking badass. How will things go, or how things will go in Sacramento is a Tower Bridge-sized question mark. The A's are partnering with the River Cats, who are owned by the Sacramento Kings owner, Vivek, to host Major League Baseball's richest players in a stadium with 10,000 fixed seats and a 14,000 person capacity factor in the grass in right field. Grass in right field is a great seat. The first controversy involving the relocation included the initial plan to play on synthetic turf to account for wear and tear. Baseball's mega agent Scott Boras, a Sacramento and Elk Grove native, publicly criticized the plans for turf and indicated he would object to his clients playing on it. Since then, the plans for turf were scrapped, and it was determined a grass field and new irrigation system could be installed to handle 2 baseball teams. Okay, wow. So I take that back. They're doing a new grass field and irrigation system. Yeah, this is the big leagues. You have a full-time staff on it. The turf in that heat would be fucking miserable. I mean, that's really kind of something that would just be awful, right? I was thinking about that. Like, I get that you don't want to play up on beat-up grass, but they do such a good job of maintaining the grass these days. And I'm sure if there's sections that are shitty, you just, boom, right? Roll another section out, put it down, you're good to go. It says, all right, here are the concerns. How will players adjust to Sutter Health Park? As previously mentioned, the clubhouses are beyond the outfield wall, so players cannot discreetly go from the dugout to their locker without a walk through the field of play. All Major League stadiums have their clubhouses tucked behind the dugouts. I told you guys this. The difference in clubhouse location will likely become more visible during the games when players get ejected for arguing with umpires. Oh, this will be fun. Instead of a quick exit to the dugout, they will have to take a 400-foot walk of shame with plenty of time to hear from the heckling fans. Yes! All dugouts should be in center field. This is good, or at least everyone should have to take the walk of shame. The same is true for the batting cages, which are typically close to the dugout, allowing players to get some swings in before entering the game. The new batting cages in a weight room will adjoin the clubhouse beyond the outfield. Will the amenities be up to par? The A's and Major League Baseball Players Association and the league have been in regular communication regarding the improvements being made to the ballpark. Everything has been agreed upon by all sides, so players shouldn't be blindsided by Sutter Health. The players are going to love it. They are. It's new. It's different. It's cool. I think they'll enjoy it. How far or how hot will it be in the summer? Sacramento is coming off one of the hottest summers on record, which included July being the hottest month since 1877. July had the most 100 to 105 to 110 degree days in 147 years. Suffice to say, the decision to go with natural grass instead of artificial turf, which can be 20 to 30 degrees warmer, seems to be a good one. Yup. The future of the team in Vegas or Sacramento. The A's long-term plans took a step toward coming to fruition on December 5th when the Las Vegas Stadium Authority voted to approve a 30-year lease, non-relocation and development documents required before construction could begin on their former site of the Tropicana Resort on the southern end of the Strip. The team hopes to open the $1.75 billion stadium by 2028, meaning they would stay in Sacramento on a temporary basis for 3 years. There's an optional agreement for a fourth year in Sacramento should the stadium not be ready in time. The Las Vegas Stadium Authority was presented with documents providing proof principal owner John Fisher and his family could provide their portion of the funding. The stadium, along with the loan commitments from the U.S. Bank and Goldman Sachs. The A's hope construction begins during the first quarter of 2025, but shovels can't begin moving dirt until extensive construction documents are agreed upon, and there's no indication when that will come. And the Las Vegas stadium plan get drawn out or derailed altogether. There's a chance that Sacramento could be the home for the A's for longer than anticipated. David Sampson, a former team president of the Miami Marlins who helped build their stadium in Little Havana, now called Lone Depot Park, and said Sacramento could make a power play to keep the A's or become a viable expansion candidate. Yeah, I would do that for sure. I mean, look, if you're Sacramento, you'd like to keep the A's. I think that'd be really cool, especially because there's such a strong fan base in that Sacramento area for them. But if not, fuck them. Let's get an expansion team. And that could be interesting because an expansion team also could end up going to Las Vegas. So there it is. The A's moving to Sacramento. And it'll be fun to watch. It will. It'll also be fun to see how this thing plays out and whether or not they end up in Las Vegas. But regardless, for today and today's Daily Hustle, just let's end this thing with a double sky point to Rickey. It would have been his 66th birthday yesterday, and just want to celebrate him. The man, the player, the father, the son, just awesome human being. A huge inspiration in my life and in my baseball career. So, Rick, love you, dude. Thank you. All right, we'll be back with the Daily Hustle mañana. And then back with Will next week. So, really looking forward to getting his thoughts on Rickey. He's been posting a bunch. It's actually another dude that runs his social media account. But he He's got all these pictures with Rickey over at first base. And yes, Joe, undoubtedly, Rickey, it will be worth having a statue. So wherever the A's end up, Sacramento, Vegas, and you guys got to assume it's Vegas. There needs to be a fucking statue of Rickey Henderson. It's got to be in front of the stadium. Same way they have Willie Mays Plaza, right? Rickey Henderson Plaza, Rickey Henderson, whatever. But that statue should be front and center right out there in front of the stadium in Las Vegas or in Sacramento if they end up there. All right, everyone have a fantastic day. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, we appreciate it very much. Don't be afraid to tell a friend. Don't be afraid to, please, if you leave a 5-star review, if you're feeling generous, we'd really appreciate that. It helps with ratings and advertisements and sponsors and everything else. Just continues to ideally build this thing out and then obviously get the content out in front of as many people as possible. That's it. Everyone have a great day. See ya!